Hey everybody, Jem from the Goater Guild again. Alright, so I've gotten a lot of requests, and I mean a ton of requests, to have me describe how you go about getting your gear. Alright, so from levels, say, 1 to, 35, 40, or, around that level, you're just going to want to grind out your gear. You run your dungeons, you do your quests, your orange quests, and your yellow quests. That's going to give you the gear that you need. Now, when you're actually ready to start running some difficult dungeons, and I'm talking like the expert modes of dungeons. In some cases, even the hard modes can be a little tough. But when you're ready to move on, you need to start getting some good gear. I actually had some of my guildies who wanted me to take them on a run last night, and they had mostly blue gear and a little bit of purple. And they were telling me, we're just confused. We don't know how to get gear. There's a lot going on. We don't know what to do. So I figured I'd put together this guide to give you guys the 3 major ways to get your gold PvE gear. Alright, so the first way is to just straight up buy gear. And this is, I think, the best way for when you're first starting out the dungeons. So say you're, I don't know, 45-ish and you're ready to start moving on. You want to, try Deserted Shrine 1 star, really move up and start doing some of the more difficult content. So at that point, what you're going to want to do is you want to come to these merchants right here, and they're called the Guardian merchants. And just to give you the map, I'm in Sulan, kind of like dead in the middle right here. And let me see, I'll give you guys some map coordinates. So this is 5529 by -1516. And yeah, this is actually the big crafting area right here. A lot of crafting stuff going on here. But so you're going to see these Guardian lesser merchants and advanced merchants. These are the guys you can just straight up buy gear for with Demon Slayer points. I'm not going to go into too much detail on Demon Slayer points now, though I'm sure I'll do a video on it down the line. But the gist is you come, you talk to these guys, and if you see, there's helmet, chest armor, gloves, greaves, boots. And these are the really basic gear. So these guys sell blue gear. It's almost no Demon Slayer points, like 20 out of like the 6,000 I have, and I've actually spent a bunch of it. So you should have plenty of Demon Slayer points to buy this stuff, assuming you're doing all your dailies. Then you have your lesser accessory merchant that also sells your blue accessories. So these are like when you're first starting off, these two right here. And then after this, you're going to want to move on to the advanced guys, and this is where you're going to get the purple gear. So if you go to the Guardian shop, you'll see that this guy has purple and then gold gear. Of course, for when you're level like 48, 49, and that's when really is a good time to start farming these 1-2 star dungeon runs. That's when you're going to want to buy, or from running quests and dungeons and whatever, get yourself a set of this purple gear. So this is pretty good. I mean, I still actually have a few pieces of it myself. This purple gear is good enough to get you through Deserted Shrine 1 star if you really try hard and you grind it out. So you'll see these cost these Demon Slayer points. And there's these items called Guardian Souls you get. And you can use them to get Guardian points. And you'll see I actually think I have a Guardian Soul. No, maybe I don't. Yeah, no, I don't have one right now, but just an item you can use to offset the cost. But I found that you should have plenty of Demon Slayer points if you're doing your dailies every day. So yeah, you're going to want to come here, and then this guy sells kind of the advanced weapon stuff as well, but this starts at 57. So this is your first way to get your stuff, is just straight up buy it with Demon Slayer points. You don't need to run dungeons, you don't need to quest, you don't need to do anything except buy them. And this gear is, I would say, the bottom tier. So the entry-level gear, the gear that you can use when you first hit a certain level transition and you're trying to move up. This gear is completely disposable. You don't upgrade it. You don't do anything with it. I mean, you can plus it up, but you can't convert it into better gear. This gear, when you're done with it, you break it down, you throw it away. All right, so this is the basic stuff. After this, there's player-crafted gear. Player-crafted gear has similar stats to the really best dungeon gear. It's not as good, but it's pretty good. Alright, so here, this guy right here is Kogan, and he's in this section. This is where you create your gear. So I'm actually looking at the 50 to 59. Let me go to 40 to 49. So this is where you would actually just straight up make stuff. And you'll see that in each of these, and I'll look at my sword, for example, there's 3 components. So there's the elementary crafting instructions, and so these come from your 120-step quest that you get once a week. So a lot of people are grinding out this quest to sell these blueprints. So if you want to get them, you can either run the 120 quest yourself, or you can buy them off the auction house. And they're fairly reasonable. It really depends on what class you are, but I've seen these run anywhere from, say, 4K Imperial coins to like 7 or 8, depending on the day and the market. So that's where you get this piece. The next piece is a basic primary weapon billet. And so this is something that's created by a blacksmith. So if I go into my crafting skills quickly just to show you, blacksmith, and this is under billets, and this is a level 5 recipe. So you need somebody who is a level 5 blacksmith to make this for you, or again, you could buy this right off the market. And then finally, the third component is another piece of player crafted stuff called a basic weapon formulation. And weapon formulations are made by a woodworker. So this is actually kind of the whole weapon crafting, armor crafting part of the game. Is you get these instructions from a quest, and you get 2 pieces, one from a blacksmith and one from a woodworker. And if you look, there's armor and ornaments as well, so you basically can craft anything you want here. And let's say, look at a piece of armor, say a helmet. Same thing, just you're going to have a different instruction, and then a different garment fragment and a different woodworking component. So one thing to keep in mind about this is as you run these quests to get these crafting instructions, these are not class specific. And I'll say that again, not class specific. So you can get items for a completely different class. I had a poor guy, ran it 3 times. He was a gunslinger, got all the stuff for my class. So he ended up tossing a couple pieces my way so I could make a few pieces of gear. So yeah, it was pretty awesome. But, well, maybe not for him, but, I think that this is a pretty good approach for if you want to get some gear. Now, when you're level 49, this is your base, your first gold gear. One really awesome thing this game does is let you take your enhancements to armor and move them to the next piece. So one thing I used to hate about games like Terra is you'd get your weapon, you'd plus it to max. It would be awesome for like 3 months until you had to move on, and basically you threw that away and had to make a new piece of gear. So this lets you take all of the money and time and effort you've put into a piece of gear and transfer it over. So that's why there's incentive to go ahead and make really good 49 gear. There's no reason not to plus it up and enhance it and just move that over. And so you'll see one other thing is this is normal, fine crafting, and exquisite crafting. And now I'm going to leave this up to all of you, and I don't really judge, but to me this is probably the most pay-to-win element of the crafting and weapon piece of this game. These are items you buy from the cash shop that just straight up make your gear better. So I don't use that. I won't even use coins that I've grinded to buy it from somebody. I think that's kind of silly. That's not for me. But again, if you want to do that, that's fine. Everybody works hard for your money. You do whatever you want with it. But that's just the other piece of this is you can take your gear and use these items to make it better. So that is pretty much it for the player gear. And then finally, and this is the top tier gear. This is the gear you get from running the dungeons. So if I talk to this merchant right here, and actually, you know what? I'm going to talk to the weapon person because the weapons take the most. All right, so this is the weapon merchant. So if I want to make my level 49 weapon, and I've actually made this already, I need a couple of components. And you can either do this one of 2 ways. You can take your 37 weapon, and that's if you did the quest line, you got your 37 weapon, and you can upgrade that. And that's the good thing about this path is if you look, the 59 weapon takes as a component the 49 weapon. So basically you're taking your weapon and just upgrading it, just bringing it forward over and over and over. So I'm looking at the 49 weapon right now. I can either take my 37 weapon, or in lieu of that, I can use one of these things called a Silverstone. And you buy these from the Merit store. So you have one of 2 options. You either buy it from the Merit store, or you upgrade your other weapon. And then you have a couple of other components. So you have Hematite. And Hematite you get from running dungeons. Or you can buy this from the Merit shop. You can buy this from a favor merchant. There's a lot of different ways to get it. I would suggest not wasting your bronze shards on this, because bronze shards is the third way. You want to save your bronze shards for upgrading stuff, because that's the most difficult piece of this game, because you can carry it over, is plussing up your gear. You need a lot of different items. And I'll do a video on that too, but I don't want to get too sidetracked. So you have your Hematite. You have your Pearl Mist, your bright or Mist of Bright Jade, and then finally your first Leshy Hearts. So the really crucial part, and this is what you're running the dungeons for, is this piece right here, the Mist of Bright Jade. So you can get this by two ways. Either it drops from the dungeon, or you can buy it from the merchant. And so when you buy it from the merchant, you have to use these things called Soul of Mist, which is another drop. So in order to get this gear, you really need to be able to run Deserted Shrine 1-star and ideally 2-star, because 2-star is going to drop one of these mists for somebody in the party. And then you're going to want to buy this stuff. And so let me see. I'm going to show you guys where the two merchants are that you need to go. So the first merchant is kind of in the middle of the map. So if you are over here in the crafting area, you're going to want to go to this portal right here. And you're going to want to take the portal right over here into the Black Empire. And then you're going to want to run south. And this is the same guy who gives you the level 37 gold weapon quest. So he is he's somebody you've probably seen already. Now, not everybody's gotten their 37 gold weapon. So I'm going to show you where to find him. And it's just right here. And it's kind of funny. This is like such a crucial part for crafting, and it's so small, kind of tucked away. So I've actually lost how to get here a couple times. And so when you get here, you're going to see this Guardian Lesser Grocer. Now this guy, or girl rather, has everything you're gonna want to buy to get most of your yellow stuff. Alright, so looking at the lesser materials, you'll see this merchant sells Hematite, and you could buy this again with Demon Slayer points. And when you buy Demon Slayer things, it requires a certain level of Demon Slayer points. So for example, this requires you reach level tier 3 of Demon Slaying. And then moving on to the second page, this is the stuff you need. So you're going to need various pieces: Silica Mist, Mist Fluorite, a regular Pearl Mist. You're going to need these depending on what piece you're making. But for the weapon and the major armor components that take this Jade, you're going to want to buy these every week as soon as you can. So you've got your standard one that you can buy once a week, and everybody can buy these, assuming you've got some of these Soul of Mist from the dungeon and you have Demon Slayer points and you're level 3. And then there's a bonus one, the second one, that you can only buy when you're Demon Slayer Layer 4. So that's definitely something you're going to want to do, is grind up your Demon Slaying faction. And this is just from doing the quests, and I'll get into that. But so this is where you get a majority of your components. This page right here, and these are all the things you need. And so your weapon takes some of these mists, and then some of the armor does. Other pieces of armor take this Fluorite and mist instead. And so one thing that's confusing is when you're buying this, there's items you get from the dungeon that offset. And I don't have any right now because I use them, but the Mist of Fluorite, this is a green sand you get from running the Deserted Shrine 1 and 2 star. And so this lets you use less Soul of Mist. So for example, say that I had 3 of these. I could increase the number of these to use, and then I would use less of my Soul of Mist. And that's the only thing these Soul of Mist Fluorites are for. So you might as well use them. And then the same thing, you get these Silica Mist, Soul of Mist Sands. And these you can use to offset the Soul of Mist cost as well. So the more of these you have, the more of these crafting materials you can buy without using your Soul of Mist, which you want to save because you need quite a few of them to buy these Jades. Alright, so this is the major component. There's one other thing that you need, and this comes from the Merit Store. And so the Merit Store you get from running Merit Quests, and again, I won't go into too much detail. I'll make a separate video on Merit, but where you're going to get Merit generally is from mentoring people. So the guy that I'm going to show you right now gives you the weekly quest to mentor people. I think it's up to 3 times. And then just run in dungeons with Lobies. You can look and see when you enter a dungeon what the Merit components are, as far as who you can mentor and what level you need to be to mentor. So I will leave that to another video. But running over in Sulan, it's this guy right here. So just to show you on the map, I went to this portal right here and then walked over to him. He's pretty much straight across the way. And his name is Stefan Zagar. And so he actually sells a lot of really good stuff. You're definitely going to want to buy things from him. But so if you don't have your 37 weapon, you're going to use Silverstone. And that's an item you can buy for 2,000 merit points. And seems like a lot, but it's not too bad if you're doing merit quests and, you know, helping out lower level guildies or just lower level people in the game. You also have the hematite here and the first Leshy hearts, another thing that you need. And then, so one other thing I'll recommend in this video is that you buy these weekly components for him, the daily and weekly ones. You're going to want to max these out because dragon spikes are how you input the PvE marks into your gear. And I think I have a couple to show you, these little green guys. And these increase demon resistance, so it's like a PvE item. And then if you put them in weapons, there's Mana Wrench, which is another effect. And then this is how you plus your gear up. These guys are 1 to 4, and then there's a different component that goes from, you know, above that. And then finally, tier beads are how you upgrade your gear. And that's, again, something else for a different video. But the gist of this is that when you want to craft gear, you have 3 ways to do it. 1, you straight up buy it, and this is the worst gear. 2, you get it from player crafting items, and that's either you craft it yourself, or you can just buy those things off the auction house. And that gear is good and, you know, on comparable footing to the other gear. It's not the best, but it's pretty close. So, you know, that's another approach. And then the third piece, and this is the piece that, you know, I think is the best, is just go out and grind the dungeon gear yourself. And so the best thing about that is you take those weapons and you can enhance them to higher levels. So if I have my 49 weapon, when I want to turn it to my 59 weapon, I just bring it to him, bring him extra components, and then boom, I just upgrade it. So that is one of the benefits of using that. So anyways, that's pretty much it. It's not too complicated. If you don't know about it, though, and you don't know where to go and where to get stuff, it can be complicated. But this guide should give you pretty much everything you need to know. And I guess one other component is, in case people ask, there's also PvP gear. And I haven't really done a lot of PvP. I've done the battlegrounds, but I've actually found that queuing up for PvP is really difficult. There's never anybody who's queuing up when I try to play. I literally last night let it sit for like 45 minutes and couldn't get into a match. So I'm not really sure what's going on with that. I'm thinking a lot of people who are big in PvP are trying to just level up quickly for, you know, the guild and clan wars. So there's not as many people doing lower level PvP. And yeah, so if you want to buy gear, they use those Imperial coins. And there's guys up here in the north of Sulan that you buy from. But basically, you grind out PvP matches, and that's going to give you the Imperial coins. And then from there, you can just buy PvP gear and PvP marks, similar to how you would from the faction merchants over here. So as far as I know, there's no crafting component to PvP gear. You just grind out the PvP stuff, and then you get it. All right. So anyways, that's it. I think we're good here. I'm gonna hopefully didn't run too long. And yeah, this is Jem from the Goater Guild. And reminder, we are on the Snowpine server. So if you guys are interested in joining up or saying hello, feel free to drop me a line and, you know, share with your friends, your guild, anybody you know who doesn't know how to do this. And hopefully we'll help everybody get caught up in the game. So yeah, thanks again, everybody. I appreciate you, and talk to you in the next video. Bye.